if you need some sexting tips, yeah, Joni, she has a raunchy side. No, I'm just kidding. But I like, yeah, hey, you're the one that put the heels up. I'm
I
sorry.
don't,
Thanks so much for joining us on Second Act TV. Joni, I want to welcome you back. My good friend, our motivational coach, dating coach, communications expert. Thanks for being here again with me.
I'm excited about this particular topic. It feels fun already.
Oh, it is. We've well off camera have laughed about this, and that is sexting.
Yeah.
And there's so much written on this. I actually got
Mhm.
this information primarily from AARP.
I know.
Is that seniors are sexting, and there's all kinds of articles about it. We have this technology now where we can either, fuel the flame of an existing relationship or actually get to know somebody on in a flirty new way, technology that we didn't have before. There are, however, things that we need to consider as we do this, but just know that, yeah, senior sexting is a thing.
It's a,
Well, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about how to get started. What do we have to keep in mind? What do we have to think about? And the first thing, make sure you're sexting the right person, right?
that sounds really simple, but the truth is, I make sure because I have a lot of clients, and I have family, and I have friends. Every time I send a text,
Mm-hmm.
not a sext, a text, I look up and I see, okay, is this the right person? Because I can't tell you since 15 years ago, whenever I started learning this, how many times I messed up, like sent one to my husband, but it went to my kid, and that's not good.
No, it happens all
So,
the time.
right,
Yeah.
right. So always, always, always in every text, make sure that you're sending to the right
Yeah.
person.
So that's probably the number one thing. The other,
Mhm.
is said to not overdo it. If you're going to decide to get into this, don't overdo it. Yeah, make sure that you start a slow pace. That builds up, and we'll talk about this a little bit more through examples.
Mhm.
But some people do tend to, turn it up too fast.
Two things. Are we talking about new relationships, or are we talking about existing relationships?
Mm-hmm.
So with new relationships, it needs to be a real gentle slope up to kind of see if this person, like, hey, so the person says, what you doing?
Yeah.
And I say, I'm in an oil bath. That's sexting, right? So that's somebody that I've been talking to, and he'll go, really? Are
Mm-hmm.
there candles? I mean, that can be sexting.
Right.
So, within a long-term relationship, you want to keep the spark alive. You can do what you want there, because one, and we'll talk about this too. One is you have the trust. Those photos, those texts are not going anywhere else. And if you're
Mm-hmm.
going to send a photo, you might take your head out. Like, don't put your head in there. I don't feel comfortable doing that personally. I mean, I've had photos come through and they were unsolicited. Like, I didn't ask for them. I didn't know they were coming. So the other thing that you can do, and it was like, ah, oh my God, I was not expecting that. But say photos on the way.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're flirting back and forth and you want to send like you're in your lingerie or something like that, or whatever photo you want to send, just say photos on the way. So that if they're sitting next to somebody in business or their mother, it doesn't, it's like, ah, make sense?
That's so funny. Well, let's get into some how to's.
Okay.
And one of the first bits that both for men and women is like, don't be afraid to initiate it, because it is a thing and it's something that can be a great tool for you. So just to, turning up the heat, here's a couple examples. Just, something as simple as, so I've been thinking about you.
Yes. And so you say, well, what are you thinking?
Yeah. Just bringing up memories apparently is a good way to do it. I had a laugh when you were saying the white lace, that they talking about, oh yeah, I'm wearing my black lacy underwear. What would you like me to wear when I come to the door, or something like that? And I'm thinking, I don't like lace. I have my white cotton Walmart.
I have my spandex thongs.
I'm not. Yeah. Apparently, and let me ask you about that, sexting is really a great way to find out about the other person, kind of what they're into, how playful they are, and maybe even what their fantasies are.
Yeah, absolutely. Sexting can be incredibly sexy. It can be really inspiring, and it gets your brain. It's so funny. The brain is just brilliant. It doesn't know that it's not happening. So it gets, it gets the juices flowing, if that's not too weird to say, but I didn't mean it like that.
Well, no, but you know what? They say that
Mhm.
sexting is actually a form of foreplay.
Absolutely. It can really, so the brain is incredibly powerful, and it gets excited, and then the body follows suit.
Yes.
So at this age, or let's say you've been in a relationship for a very long time, what a fun way to sort of, jumpstart it a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, I was just thinking about last weekend when we, had all that fun, and I'm looking forward to having fun again.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be raunchy in
No.
any way. But I will say, there are some people who they're not comfortable with texting, let alone sexting. And I honor that. Some people would prefer a conversation. Here's the thing about that though. If somebody sexts something, there's a pause, they can respond, and then so you're able to sort of curate the response and the back and forth. But in person, if somebody says something, you're like, deer in the headlights, it gives you a pause time to
It
communicate.
really does. I think it's great. I'm all for it. I've done it. And it's a terrific way to get to know somebody, and it lets some of your inhibitions out that you just brought it up, that you wouldn't otherwise face to face. It's a
Mm-hmm.
whole other conversation, and they actually make that point in don't let sexting, don't read too much into it, because the downside of that is that you have this, really fabulous sexting guy or gal, and then you're together in person. It's a different, they're a different person.
That has happened to me.
Mhm.
One of the most extraordinary email exchange of just esoteric, beautiful, extraordinary conversation back and forth. And even in texting, he was amazing
Mhm.
texter, an amazing emailer. And then I met him in person, and it was like, because I wanted to talk about all these amazing things that
Yeah,
we've been talking about. And I was like, so how was your trip?
yeah. Right. Some people just aren't good at that. So they have some other examples here, just how to get it started. Like you were saying, something innocent, like thinking about our dinner tonight, and then
Mm-hmm.
the other person could, well, what are you thinking about?
I love what you just said, because the way you said it was, thinking about my dinner tonight. Now, just say it regularly. I'm thinking about our dinner tonight.
Mhm.
Okay. So what they recommend is that you add emojis or emoticons. Okay. So that they get the inflection. If you got a winky face, with the thinking about our dinner tonight, that's a completely different communication. You
Yes,
don't want to be using emojis and emoticons when you're on your dating sites. But sexting, you definitely want to use those.
that is so funny you brought that up, because I want to make sure we talked about that. They even have recommendations of the most popular emoji cons for sexting. The one is the kitty with the heart. That's a
Uh-huh.
good one for. I mean, as a man, you wouldn't send that, but as a woman, that definitely implies some sexual, or some playfulness.
Mm-hmm,
They
mm-hmm.
said that the peach, I guess, which is the butt, don't, and that's a bad one on dating sites. The honey pot, when you're really turned on.
Oh, I did not
I didn't
know
even know
that.
there was a honey pot. We should do a whole segment on emoji. Here's
Yeah.
one I hate. Tell me how you feel about this one: the eggplant or hot dog.
Okay. I will say this too. Anybody in the world, forever, amen, never send me either of those. I'm offended by those two. And you can imagine if you're out there going, well, what do they mean? Look it up.
Yeah.
Or just imagine they're elongated,
Yeah,
cartoons.
it's the phallic. It's the
Yeah.
and men tend to. I guess I don't know. Do men our age do? Yeah, some do, but yeah, this is definitely a no, especially if you're on dating sites. This does do not do this on dating sites.
So let's say you are sexting, you're back and forth, back and forth. She sends an eggplant and he digs it. He sends an eggplant back. Well, then fine, good for them. These my personal preferences.
Uh,
Eggplant is for eating.
yeah, exactly. And just a short while ago, I wouldn't have known what that meant. Oh, do you want to take me to an Italian restaurant? It's one of my favorite dishes. I don't know. And now here's the let's see what he said there. Okay, I didn't know this. The explosion emoji. Have you
Mm-hmm.
seen that? An explosion and the sweat drops. Have you seen
No,
those?
no. What
Okay.
does it mean?
Those mean orgasm
Oh,
or
as
climax
I
or
as I
sexual
asked
excitement.
the question, I realized. So I realized what it must
I
be.
I had to look it up. I mean, my mind didn't go there, and I'm wondering if I ever use those. I don't
I
know.
know. Same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing.
It's something to think about. Oh, and then he said that what he loves when he gets it from women is the slanty, sly face. I know.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to put up emojis on it, but yeah, I just
Let's make our own emojis. There'll be a Silka emoji and a
yeah.
Joni emoji.
But apparently, guys really like getting that. So, guys, let us know if that's true. See, then here's a gross one, and he said that this is a popular one. The drooling hungry face. It's like, but that's like I can't wait to see you. I don't want to
Huh.
get. I'm sorry, I don't want to get
Oh,
that.
okay. All righty. Yeah.
So I mean, we can go through a million others, but I guess, and thanks for bringing that up. That emojis, yeah, that's a big part of sexting, and make sure you know what they mean.
Make sure you know what they mean. Absolutely. And again, these are just personal preferences that we're talking about. But I think the reason a guy would like getting that too is that it is permission
Mhm.
in a way to step into the sexting.
Yeah, exactly. He said some other things when it comes to pictures that or audio visual messages. He gave some examples that I thought were interesting. Is that you can use your voice to build tension, or and that like not to send full out nudes ever, which you said too. If you're going to send something, at least have your head cut off. But it can be something as simple as gripping the hem of your skirt, chewing,
Oh.
chewing on a pen.
I just flashed on a photo I sent. I had 6-inch heels, platform heels. I took a picture like that with the heels are up in the air. I can't believe I'm sharing this on camera, but anyway, so it made me feel really, sexy.
Yeah, well, again, we can go on and on and on about this, and there's so many examples, and it really, I mean, just reading about this, you kind of get in a sexy mood, or you start getting ideas. Oh, I could do this, I could do that, and that's actually one of the intentions of sexting, especially what I was told here is for men that
Mm-hmm.
they're very visual. So if you can paint a story with
Mm-hmm.
your words,
Mm-hmm.
but that can be very effective in drawing him into a very playful situation. What do you?
Well, agreed. And what I'm thinking as you're speaking to is don't put any pressure on yourself, especially if you've never done this before.
Yeah.
There's no right way to do it. You don't have to do it. And if you do, just kind of work up to it. Just kind of see if it fits, if the shoe fits for you. If not, no big deal. But I think it's a great topic that not a lot of people talk about. So I'm glad we are.
Well, maybe we'll do more of a how-to. Well, in closing, I want to, and you brought it up, I think, towards the beginning. You want to re-emphasize delete, send and delete. And what that does is, in case you lose your phone or you leave your phone unlocked and your kids, scroll through whatever.
Your
If you don't
grandkids.
want somebody else to see this, make sure you delete it. And yeah, the number one tip, make sure you're texting the right person. I'll let you close it, Joni.
Well, I always say that everything happens for us. So
Mm-hmm.
if you do accidentally send one to someone, figure out how's that for you and how's that for them, Maybe they need to know that you're still freaking alive.
Very, very funny. Joni, thank you. We will link to all of your information if you need some sexting tips. Yeah, Joni, she has a raunchy side. No, I'm just kidding. But I like, yeah, hey, you're the one that put the heels up. I'm
I
sorry.
don't,
You might be full of great advice. Joni, thank you. God, I always have so much fun with you. And I look forward to our next conversation on Second Act TV.
Me too. And notice I wasn't denying. Okay.
Bye.